Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go over the Recast project, the project approval journal entry, and the Recast presentation video. So for the Recast assignment for project, you're going to be recasting or recreating your researched argument and taking it and making it into a new piece. You're going to be giving life to the argument that you used within the researched argument assignment and repurposing it into another form. The goal of this assignment is to show that not only can you take an argument and take it from an argumentative stance within an academic field and make it into a more public piece with a creative approach, but that you can also be creative in general. So the requirements for this assignment are that you rework the argument that you used for a public audience. So in this respect, you're going to have to kind of be imaginative because you're still turning it in for me. Normally, you would present this piece to your classmates and in front of the class, and that would be the public audience you would be reaching out. You kind of have to use your imagination this time around. And I will be approaching this assignment as if from a public audience approach as I grade it. So you have to think of it in those terms because that's how I'm going to be grading it. I'm not going to be grading it like I am your research argument piece. I'm not going to be looking at it as an academic. You also want to explore genres for your work, and you want to demonstrate how to represent yourself to a public audience while also thinking about how to best repurpose your argument to suit your audience's needs. So possible formats for this are the advocacy text, which is an example might be the public service poster or a website or pamphlet that would argue for an issue. So the argument that college should be free is a great one for this, or any kind of health care issue would be a good one for this as well. And the advocacy text can go in a lot of different directions. When you do these, you should also think about how you use layout, fonts, and colors, because they can be quite effective. The video or podcast is a very powerful recast option, and this can be a lot of fun depending on whether or not you enjoy creating videos and podcasts, or if you're just interested and you want to be able to do it. Now keep in mind, I do not want you to go all out and try to create something professional. I just want you to do your best. And this says 3 to 5 minutes long. If it's 2.5 minutes, that's fine. In the past, I've had people interview others for their podcast. If you do that and it needs to be longer than 5 minutes, that's okay too. Make sure that you don't have to invest too much time learning about the tool you need to use. I don't want you to have to spend 2 weeks learning how to use the tool. This is an opportunity to learn how to use new tools, by the way. That's part of the fun of it. But I don't want you to have to fall in too far. You are welcome to give an actual speech presentation with visual aids. And in this, you should think about the kind of speech you may have given in Speech 101. So the actual formal type of speech. And if you choose to do this, it would be 5 minutes long. And for anybody who chooses to do this option, please reach out to me because I actually have a set of guidelines for it specifically. And I will give you those guidelines. But this one needs to be 5 minutes long, and you would record this for me. The website or blog. So if you choose to create a website or blog, I want you to be able to put some work into it and have a couple of fully fleshed out pages that show you've put in some work and some research, again, for the public audience rather than just me. And think about what that means in terms of what does a public audience need and what might they want from you when you're talking about your argument. Obviously, they don't want academic sources necessarily. They may for some things, but most of the time they don't. Or do they? Trick question. All right, but make sure that you have a couple of fleshed out good pages there with links. Also, again, think about layout, fonts, and colors. A comic strip. For the comic strip, you do not have to be an artist. You can draw this using stick figures. And I usually get at least one of these per class, and I absolutely love them. They are wonderful, and I require that you make at least 6 panels when you're creating the comic strip, and that's because it usually takes about that to deliver the argument that you're creating. If there's anything else that you have in mind for this, just please reach out to me. I'm happy to hear about it. I've had a lot of creative assignments come out of this. Last semester, someone created a Rubik's Cube that had like a comic scenario on it. I kept it. I love it so much. I love that thing. It's great. It's one of the most creative things I think I've ever received. And it's exciting to get to see some of the work that people put together. And it can be a lot of fun. I'm hoping that especially with as tough as things are right now, that you'll be able to have a lot of fun with this. Also, completing the readings in the student guide. The student guide has laid out rules for this assignment. Don't pay attention to the rules, but I would like you to look at the options that they have laid out. They have other examples in there as well that you should look at. So in addition to this, you should be also completing the project approval request, journal entry number 13. Journal entry number 13 is due at the end of this week. For this journal entry, you will just need to tell me what you plan on doing. That's it. Before you move forward on this assignment, you need to submit that to me and hear back from me. I will be responding to you. I'll respond to these each day, and you need to get my response before you move forward. If you want to start moving forward a little bit, you can. Just don't spend like 12 hours on something before you've heard back from me. Anyway, make sure you complete that journal entry as part of this. And one of the questions I get asked most frequently is, can I change my argument? You should stick with your argument. You should use the same one you've used for the researched argument paper. You are more than welcome to change sides of that argument. So if you argued for free college tuition in the United States and you'd like to argue against it for some reason now, then you can do that if you would like to. Like if you think that would be more interesting, then go for it. If that sounds more fun to you, you can do that. The only way you can change this is if there's some bizarre situation going on, or if you're having an issue, please reach out to me. I'm willing to hear your request. Next, I'd like to talk about the presentation. For the presentation, all you have to do is make a 1 minute long video with your phone or your laptop. It's an informal video, and tell me why you chose to do the recast project that you did, and explain to me how the recast conveys the argument that you presented in your researched argument paper. That is it. Remember that all of this is due on the 26th of April. And if you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. Have a great day.